All right, thank you for being so patient with us for our meeting today on this October 9th, 2023. We'll go ahead and get our public meeting started with Utilities Commission for Alabama, Georgia. Bring this meeting to order. If it would, Commissioner Thompson, would you say a word of prayer for us?
Sure. Let us all bow our heads. Father, you instructed for us as to pray and lift up our nation and those who are in authority. So in obedience to you, I pray and lift up our nation and our leaders, especially the Israelis. Lift up our community leaders, our mayor, our councilors, our commissioners, city leaders, governor, and state officials, our president, his cabinet, and all those who are instrumental in the leading of our community, our state, our city, and our nation. Father, we pray that you would give them divine guidance, direction, instruction, and counsel. We pray that the Spirit of the Lord would rest upon them with godly wisdom and knowledge, and that you would help them and give them solutions to the problems and affairs of our community, city, state, and our nation. We ask all these things, all these blessings, Father, in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. And let everyone say amen, amen, and amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson. Would please stand, face the flag, and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Next item, approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I'll offer a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
Have a motion, looking for a second. Second. All those in favor of approval of the agenda by show of hands. What say you on the phone?
Hand is up.
Okay, West.
Hand is up.
Got you. Next item, welcome our visitors. Welcome. Have anything you'd like to address the board with?
I do. My name is Jimmy Giles. I'm taking care of my parents' place here in Fort Valley. I know you've had a discussion about it and everything. 1984 Peach Parkway. And the bill that was $3,600, which went down to $35. I would like to be able to present the thing so everybody can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to pass these things out. Play one.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. What I'm going to discuss is trying to figure out, where we at as far as a group of people here that we're looking after the people of Peach County. But I'm looking mainly after my parents, of course. I'm trying to take care of my mother. Today is the date of my daddy's passing a year ago. And you see the birth certificate that tells you that he passed away just a little bit later on the other day. But I come to know about, what I need to do here. I come and file the stuff to get here to where I can take care of the house and to do the things for Mom. I've got this thing just, that gives me the chairman, the commissioners and all that, gives me all y'all, so I know who y'all are, so I get a little bit about that. But if you go and see where I actually went and had the West Plumbing, if you turn the page over, you see the certificate of West Plumbing where I had the line repaired or stopped. There was a comment made about, I'm going to cut the tree down. Well, I tried to get the guys to dig on the other side of the tree, which I did. I haven't cut the water on since this happened. When I cut it off, when I found out, I cut it off. But I just put this number 3 on page 3. I put that there. If anybody sees a $19.50 bill turn to $3,600, yes, it's quite a shock. It's just unbelievable that could happen in our society. I went and saw this stuff. I said, man, this is just outside the box. I never heard of such. And of course, other people that I've talked to throughout the other counties and everything, they have a program to take care of stuff. I know I went to the neighborhood super center here, and hey, how you doing? Let me give you one. But my mom makes too much money. She's a fellow, recipient of Daily Women Over the Banks. But just because of that, it shouldn't be penalized, regardless of what that is, in my opinion. I even went up there, and that lady said, "What? It's been a lot of things being claimed there." She said, "But that, if they couldn't happen," she said, "but they should write it off," is what she said. This is the lady working at Neighbors. But needless to say, I understand your things and everything to do that. I understand. But I went and investigated. I looked at Camstruck. I thought Camstruck was what y'all had as far as actual the software program and everything. But it's there. And this Itron can read. This is on page 5 and of course the other page. It can read and do the stuff. And as far as I know, it tells you when you got a leak. I talked to the guy, Jody Klein, with Camstruck, and he sold this stuff to you. He said that if nothing else, they should see it when they read it, and they should notify you. I've got where I went up on the 1st of January 6th of this year. I went and gave the information. I gave my mama's. I created an email address that comes to me. I've got my number, which is text. I know y'all may not have a program for that, but that needs to be implemented one way or the other. Something needs to happen to where it can look after the people. I just think that this is something that's important to look after. But this thing records has so much. It's according to what you set it on, and I understand that. On Camstruck, if you want to and get the software for it, it goes back 400-something days. They'll tell you exactly what happened to my mom. But I talked to him. He says, "Well, you have to get the software." It's still elite. It's an elite program. I understand that the water here and the sewage here is a loss leader. I know that electricity and the gas and the internet are what's paying the way for this thing. I understand that. And I understand, I live in Warner Robins. I've got a $10 water bill on plus whatever the sewage. So I understand we want cheap water. But the thing about it, if there is a situation like this that could occur to anybody else, why not have some kind of program to raise the bill $10? I don't know what it would take. But why would somebody go and take from a widower $3,600 or $3,500 away from her? I mean, and they say, well, because the water is your responsibility. Okay, here, I'm going to give you what I found out. The perfect storm here is my dad passed away. Nobody's lived in that house. Nobody's lived in the house. We went to that house on the funeral, and you were looking at the thing at some point, but you'll see this notice. It's a notice I got. It's on page 8, really, 9's the thing. But it shows, I just wanted to show you all this. I'm looking at $19.50. I don't realize things are going on. I ain't really paying any mind, to tell you the truth. $19, nobody's paying no mind. Nobody's getting worried about it. But this note was on the ground at the mailbox. Once I found out that I had this thing, that there was a leak going on, and I found this on the ground, I went immediately and cut it off. Now, there's some pictures and stuff I get here farther in the back. You'll see where I saw it. You'll see when the guys came up. But let me stay with this. All right, this is the bill. Shows it at $3,451.35. All right, the consumption. If you turn this thing and look at this consumption on opposite of the 11, and if you go back on the July, that's when nobody was living there, all right? And I didn't realize it. I didn't think nothing about it. But there it goes. On the incident that happened was there was a water leak. My sister came by, and they come by, just dropping by. They don't go use water. Nobody uses water. And this is cubic fix. I didn't understand. I'll tell you, I didn't really know what I was doing. I searched it out. I wasn't going to sit still. I'm not going to let my mom's money be taken away. Anyways, but there was a leak before. There was a leak in this house before that, and I should have been notified. Somebody should have been notified in my household. I did put information out there that should have got to me, and they should have been notified that when it did happen, when, say for instance, this was not a case, but to my way I understand it, this kind of amount of water, it was 3 to 5 gallons a day. The way the system works, I understand, it tells you when it goes past 30 minutes that you have a leak, that something's going on. So I don't know why we're not being informed. If this has happened to me, and listen, I've got another person that's thousands of dollars. This is a lady, I mean, up the road from me. She had thousands of dollars. She's paying a bill now. She's paying $100 a month, I think, whatever, because something happened to her. But how can you get thousands of gallons of water put into the system in that month? Well, let's go on here. You'll see the bill on October. This is October for that one. This is when my brother, and you'll look at the emails, the text on the back side of that page, we were texting where it says, as a precaution, this is on the 12th of October, this thing had been happening. Hey, how you doing? My name is Jimmy Giles, this is my parents.
Thank you.
And we're on page 9 right now. But it says, as a precaution, I would turn the main valve off, and I did. I turned the main, that's in the house now. I turned off the water in the house. All right, and you'll see that where I highlight the funeral was going to be, which was on the 13th. My dad's funeral was on the 13th. So I cut that water off. Well, if you back up onto the page 10, that's where 1 cubic foot of water was used. 1. Nobody else has lived there. After that incident, after that water spill, my siblings, when they stopped, they used it. They just wouldn't go in there. They just wouldn't do it. I did not cut the water off. I cut it off there, then I turned it back on. I turned it back on because I was going by checking on it. I wanted to use the bathroom. I just used the bathroom. I didn't take no shower. I didn't do anything else. I didn't wash no cars. I didn't do anything. All right. So what I did is I go in and back this thing. I got a calendar here. Okay, the reading is saying on the bill. My bill, it says for my mom and daddy, is from 3/9 to 4/6. I was on page 13. All right. Well, you can see where the reading was supposed to be taken. That's where it's supposed to be. That's where the bill's supposed to stop, if it was legitimate. Well, what happened is it went all the way to the 18th. The 18th is when I got billed for every bit of water that came through that thing, and when I cut it off, and I've got I didn't know how to read the Camstruck meter. It's got all these digits, but the last 4 digits are, the first two, the 1, 0, and 15. This is on page 15. At the top there, you see that it's 1084. Well, if you go back and look at the bill, if you look at maybe it's I can go back to go back to the bill. It shows, let me see if I can find that bill, but it's the same bill. It's the same bill. It has not gone anywhere. It's been the same thing. It's been dead zero. When I went and cut that off, and I calculated how much water was going through there, it was 26.882, and I backed it all the way up on that calendar. I backed it up all the way on that calendar. And then so that's 743,000 gallons of water going through that thing. And what it was a magnolia tree out there outside on the toward the highway, 150 feet away from the house. It was down in the woods, somewhat off the road. Nobody could see it. It was overgrown. It's a jungle out there. Okay, nobody's living there, and the thing about it is, when the guys came, West Plum came to take the pipe off, they twisted it off. They could, because what it did, it was the end of the line. It was glue, and they actually got the pop off. They got to twist. It took a little bit. They got it off though, but it was pressurized and it's going out, and it's simple. They put a cap on it. They talk about get somebody coming in and cut a tree. I said, well, we just dig it up. So they was able to put a cap on it, and it's been sealed. I actually left it running to check and make sure there's no other leaks. I did that at different times. I've come up, there is no leaks. There's no leaks outside of the thing. I've got my house on, everything. I'm not trying to hoodwink nobody. I'm just telling you this is, and I'll be honest with you. I'm a Christian. I love God with all my heart. Christ is my Lord and Savior. And I know that we have this prayer that's open, and it's wonderful. I've been watching, I've been looking, I've been studying. I've been going back to 2020 and find out how this thing operates. I want to understand it. I got good friends. I got people here at Succoth Baptist. I got a good friend that knows you very well, Mr. Ned. But I didn't come and bother you. I talked to Steve and everything, trying to get some understanding about it. But if you go back again to where I did the calculation, got what I did. That's okay. Then you go over here to when I cut it off. Whenever they came in, they left that thing, and apparently they wrote the wrong date, because on the camera, you go to 17, and you look at it on the backside too, but 17, they came in, and I can't really tell, but they put a notice on the mailbox, which is right there by Mom and Daddy's back door. As far as I know, nobody knocked at the door, and my sister and them monitor it down in America. They monitor what goes on, and said, this is the only time this truck came into the yard at that time. All right, because you read it from the road, or you read it, I don't know if it's read here, or if it's read by going by. I don't know that I don't know all that. But if you do have it, it's great. I mean, if it is, then I think there's something needs to change. If you're going to have this happen to people in our society, I wanted to talk to y'all. I wanted to try to see, because y'all, let's put it this way. I only knew who the general manager was, Clay, and I talked to Clay. And the first thing I do is I got the bill. I'm going up to the lady at the drive-thru. I walked in now, and there was somebody up there at the service center. And I said, I want to talk to Clay, about this. And I said his full name. She said, there ain't nobody worried about that name here. So I got a bad feeling then. All right, and then I talked to another lady, and I said, well, something's got to happen. And the lady says, do not say, but I said, something needs to happen politically, something like this to happen. And she says, but don't say I said anything, but that other lady said that something should happen. This is just outside the box. I understand, even if I didn't have this thing about the leak, if you're taking the bill and you're saying that bill's true, then why am I getting billed till that point? Then I had a conversation with Clay. I said, and I told him, I said, I came with my hat in hand. I said, I wanted to see if I can get some, and Clay's his general manager. He's going to try to make it do the best he can on the operation. I understand that. No, I haven't fault him. He's going to do what his best he can to make it work. But I don't want my mama paying for the negative care factor of the water. I don't think she should be paying it. I don't think anybody should be paying it. 1,000, 100. I mean, it's just outside the box. I mean, I can't understand. How do you get this kind of money attached into? Because you start looking at, I started in $97.89 a day. Once they found, if it did come and check it, hey, why aren't you calling me? But I believe the thing was leaking prior to that, because nobody was living in this house, and it should have had some notification sent out to the people. I'm looking after my mama, but I also want to look after the people of Peach County. There is no sense in anything like this going on. There is no sense. It's like almost, okay, I understand if I go and buy a car, a used car dealer, but I don't expect the people that are serving the people for the county should ever have to experience this. I mean, there should be some way of protecting. If nothing else, some kind of insurance thing. I know y'all got this program where you help. I understand that, and that needs to go. And I was kind of aggravated that I had to go to Nathan, because I knew my mom probably wasn't going to make it. I knew she probably wasn't going to make it, but I did what I was asked to do. And then I told her, for me to get anything, did I get the tree cut? And I was not happy about that. I have to be honest with you. Somebody, because if I got to cut the tree down, I got the water off. I mean, $3,600 bill does not motivate you to cut something off or do something. I mean, I'm a little aggravated about that. So I have to be honest with you there. I'm not happy about that. All right, so they come in on the 14th. They come in twice. To put the parent, and it's, all right, but if you look at me, I came when I saw it. And listen, I'm not coming by every day. I'm not coming by every day. I have been in Florida visiting my son and his wife and my grandson. So I'm down there visiting them. I got a new grandson. But the yellow tag was laying on the ground. You see the U.S. flag here on 19? That's where it was laying. It was ran over, as you can see. If you can look on the back early, you can see where it's got ran over, and that's one thing. But it wasn't on the door. It wasn't at the house. It was laying on the ground. Of course, I cut it off. That's when I cut it off. Well, and I changed the time because the clock up here on the top of the camera is time had been changed on the count. All right, daylight savings time, and I wrote down the meter and everything. If you want to know the whole story, you can get the whole story. If you want to go, Camstruck's got it. They can get you the whole thing. They can tell you what went on for the whole year. They've got the technology, but you would have to pay for it or get somebody to come do it or to give them do a favor. I asked the question. I was wanting to see if I could do it, but I'm not going to push it. But the fact is, I turn it off, and 3 hours later, they're reading the thing. You see the guys there standing there looking at the handheld or whatever they got. That's just my thoughts. I leave it up to y'all. My thoughts is that my mom shouldn't have to pay but $19.50. And at that, I'm going to have to pay. If I had known if it was leaking prior to that, I could go in and found it myself and dug it up, and I paid $100 and $200 something dollars, whatever we were paid to West Plumbing. I wouldn't even pay that. But to me, I just think there's enough, I give you enough proof that something's not going right. And I think as a commissioners, that you're elected and everything, and I know you are great folks. I know Steve, he's great. But I just know that there should be more to our society than taking advantage of somebody. Listen, my mama is taking care of, she's been looking after down in American Shore. My sister's looking after her in assisted living, and so we pay and take care of her. And will she use all that? Probably not. With the way it's coming, eventually the house will have to go. And I promise you, I won't be turning the water off. I'm not going to turn the water. Why would I want to put something like that on anybody's back? I mean, to be honest with you, if something can't be corrected or changed or done, society needs to know. Society needs to know they've got the time bomb on their hands, the financial one. And some people may not be able to handle it. I understand that the fact that we've got a program, which that's what we should have. We should take care of the ones that need it, no doubt. But I don't think that just because the society has a base in the backyard that takes care of us, that we should have to pay the money that's way past beyond reason. Here I am trying to save money. I'm fighting with AT&T to get them to even give me internet. I got the phone cut off, but if you know AT&T, they've got their own little program going on. I accomplished that. I got that here. I'm satisfied. They finally come and say, hey, we are going to get. I said, why didn't you tell me that 15 other people later that you were going to give me the internet? Somebody just told me. I mean, somebody had told me they weren't going to give it to me. They canceled it. I said, why didn't you tell me that earlier? The next thing I know, 2 weeks later, they call me and says, were you grandfather then? I said, okay. I didn't say nothing, I argued. But here I am, I've saved her some money, a little bit of money. And then I get this bill slapping me in the face. It's unbelievable. I know that I'm not happy about it. I know anybody else that would see it. And people, when I tell them about it, and this is my Sunday school class over there in Sucker Baptist over in Warner Robins, they could not believe what the amount of money that this was happening. And they don't know all the details. They don't know all what I found. And to be honest with you, if my daddy hadn't passed away, if I hadn't been the age I have been determined like I am, if things hadn't happened the way we wouldn't know this was going on. I think, to me, to wait so many days, even if it was happening, before you go and click, that's not right. That is not right. I mean, to me, I think that my mom's place was leaking. Nobody was living there, that kind of water pouring out. But prior to that, when my family shut it down, I closed it up. But with that said, I'll leave it with y'all, and if y'all have anything to say to me now, I'll listen to what y'all got to say. If not, then I'll just hopefully hear from you later on.
I thank you for coming.
I do have some information for you. First of all, the meters are not read remotely. They're only read when the truck goes by. We don't get the information as it's
Okay, let me ask you this question then. So when you do find out that there's leaking, you got a leak, Does it mean, because now what Jody told me is when y'all read that meter, it tells you it's leaking.
When it's fed into the computer after all the readings are done for that cycle, and those are fed into the computer, that's when it does, and they aren't going into the computer right away.
So you're willing to take and put $100 a day on my mom's bill, so you don't have a program, you don't have that set up or anything? Does the commission, I understand. And
the readings, when they go into the billing program itself, when it goes into the billing program, as soon as that goes in and we see it's high, we send somebody out. Now, right after you came in and saw me, the first thing I did at the very next meeting, we came in here and we came up with a plan that could at least cut the bill in half. And that was put it at the lowest rate instead of being at the high volume rate.
I don't think it was right then. I think that Steve had something to do with that. I don't think you did. I think Steve did. I think I had said something to him. I don't believe you did.
Actually, I did.
Well, you know, when I came to you and talked to you, and
I said I would come to the commission and talk to them. Because we had several.
But I gave you the bill, but and you, instead of you contacting me or email me, you did email me the mayor's information, but then you never did contact me anymore. You talked to me. You kind of let somebody else in the office handle that. So I felt like you was leaving me outside hanging instead of trying to take care of me, look after me. So that's where I felt like it was. I don't know. I know if the commissioners do not know how to read the meter or understand how the meter's going or anything like that, the way somebody said they could not get that information. But what I was told by him that it immediately told that it leaks. It tells that what happens, that there's a leak going on.
Oh, there's software that can do that, and we're reaching towards getting.
So now that is the case, and I've complained about it. So it's going to happen. That's great. I don't want that to happen.
It's going to happen where Tantalus meters are, and because the Tantalus electric meters are what can pick up the ERTs to transmit the information back. So it's going to start out where our electric service is, and we're going with the electric service.
So where we're outside though, the outside though, do you have electrical out there?
We do not have electrical out there.
Okay, so that's not going to do for those people out there.
Then it's going to take readers and repeaters to put out in the system, which are not there at this time.
Okay, and I understand that if that's the case and everything's so, why would you want to still burden somebody in a society even though you're still going to do that? Because you got that, for I understand, you got that with electrical, you got that with other things.
Well, we're still getting there with electrical. We've only got just under 1,500 meters in right now that are the Tantalus readers.
Right. And like I said, and I understand that they feed off the others, feed off of that they actually can read other meters for you.
Yes.
So it does a multiple meters.
They can read other meters, but a lot of the other meters have to be updated in order for them to read the meters. Because some of the ERTs out there are 50 series, and they've got to be 100 series for the Tantalus to read them.
But again, I know that the water has lost 800,000. That's kind of what it does. I understand that. So why does my mom have to take $3,400 hit when it's already a loss later anyway? Why is somebody in that position done that way? I mean, it doesn't make sense. The only thing I see, I felt like when you see something, if the guy should see it, you should see it on the handheld. That is exactly what Jody told me, and that's what I can go by is what the Camstruck people have told me. And I've talked to them, I've looked, but I've gone and like I said, if the water was leaking prior to that too, I mean, you know about that, right? If it was leaking prior to that, you know that there's a leak in there, right?
Well, I was unaware there was a leak in there before then.
Well, there's nobody living there, and it should have, if it's a constant read, it tells you that, right? It does. It has to. Because
we don't get a constant read. We get one reading when we pick the.
But you see, it gets the time. It reads so much in the day, and it tells you there's a water that's constantly reading. There's a leak. That's the way I understand it. And you can read it yourself. Y'all can look at it yourself from the information. So if the leak was going on prior to this big leak, then why wasn't we notified of it? That's what I want to know. I mean, the whole premise now is, okay, you're right. So you don't get it done. Why aren't we told about it prior to that? It's a 3 or 4 gallon leak. It's a leak. What it did, it blew up. Something really went. And the guys I talked to the water, I said, do they pressurize it? He said, yes, they pressurize the water lines, and it could have pushed it out. And then also, the perfect storm, the most perfect storm you could ever have, on the one end of the reed to the other. But then it goes to where you got to delay in doing the accounting. Why is that going on? I mean, you're going to give me the lower price that we had talked about, but I didn't agree to it by no means. I didn't want that. I don't want to pay that kind of money out of my mom's account. I'm fighting a battle, but I'm telling you, there's a leak was going on. There was nobody there, and that should have been told to us. And if there's anything that's going on anywhere else, that should be corrected. It's not right to take advantage of society. And I'm telling you, I feel like I don't mean no harm to you, Clay. I want the best for you. I just don't think that things have been managed like the way it should have been. I don't think I was looked after by you in a way that I feel comfortable that you're taking care of me. So that's why I come to the commissioners, because I want to get some peace of mind. If they don't want to do anything, that's on them. But right now, I know that this is a perfect storm to find out the fallacies of this system, and they need to be corrected. I do not expect my mom to have to pay this money. I want it all back. I got Christmas colors, and hopefully there'll be a Christmas present, but if not, it's fine. But I don't mean no harm to anybody. I really don't. I don't want to cause any problems. But I'm not going to sit still and let my mama in her state lose the money that should be rightfully hers. And that's just anybody want that. But like I said, if there's something, I understand the can strip is the gold standard. The can strip is gold standard. And I know that there's water is not a making money thing, so I understand that. I mean, I understand stuff when I go back and, hey, I went back. Hey, listen, in the middle of the night, I'm watching y'all on back in 2020 to get to know y'all a little bit, so I know a little bit about you and everything. And I do appreciate y'all asking the Lord to help guide y'all and direct y'all in what y'all do for here as a society. But I think this is not something that can go on and feel like it's proper. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I thank God for to get to meet y'all and talk to you, and hopefully some positive comes out of it. I want it to. I mean, if nothing else, I would hopefully y'all would see what y'all could do. But other parts of the society doesn't do this. They don't let that. I understand there's money in there that's put in there to help, and you can get that from covered to people. I understand that, but we shouldn't have this happening to the citizens of this county, regardless of who they are. And that lady up there, her name is Heather Stinson, and her daddy, I don't know, I ain't gonna say nothing more than that, but she's had quite a big bill too, if I understand. But I couldn't get an address, and for whatever reason, I don't know, I'm not gonna bother them. But I know there's one other person that had that happen on up the road, but before the high school, he would tell me where she lived, but I didn't even want to go bother her, but if they didn't want to get involved, I didn't want to get involved. But I thought at least you can take it. But to me, it needs to be checked out, see what's going on with the monies that have been taken in. You want them taken in properly. May I be honest with you? I don't understand why water's cheap anyway. I mean, to me, I think it should probably be a little bit more anyway. But I know you can't. It's a lost lead possibly, and that's why you don't worry about it as much. But the house account, I can't believe it's just a $10 bill. And that, of course, you got the water. But again, that's just my personal. If nothing else, you could add some kind of insurance thing that say, hey. But it's just something I think would be a big benefit to the society. But that's all I have to say. If y'all got any more questions or comments, I'll be glad to answer them and listen to them.
Thank you so much. Any commissioners would like to? Any questions?
So a lot of information delivered very in rapid fire fashion. So just help me understand this. Okay. So your mother passed. Houses.
My dad passed. My dad passed. My mom's still living.
Okay. All right.
The funeral, the thing with my dad. Today he passed away a year ago.
Your mother
today.
is still living in this house.
No, she's not. She actually took an assisted living. There's nobody living in the house.
So there's nobody living in the house.
Nobody living in the house. That's right.
All right. And you didn't cancel the services. You left them on, like you said, so
Right.
that you couldn't go there and use the house, flush the toilet, or what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So the services are still up. All right. Fantastic.
Right.
Now, the service that broke, is this the main service to the house, or is this another service going off somewhere underneath the
It was
tree or
actually
whatever.
a water line out there into the woods a little bit. It was 150 foot away from the house.
And what is the water line going to?
It was going to a faucet.
Okay, so there's an out-there faucet
It's just a
somewhere on the back.
faucet, yeah. It's
Okay.
just a three-quarter inch faucet. There's no barn, no nothing there. It's just he had a dog pen at some point.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was,
And then,
it was sitting out there on the and I looked all over the place before I finally found it.
Okay.
And everything, but I
so
couldn't.
that's what broke.
Yes.
The spigot on your property.
What it did is the tree grew around. You'll sit on the.
No, I understand how this works. Been part of the water utility industry for a while, so I understand how this works. Okay, but all the water went through the meter, you're not saying it was on the utility side of the meter?
Right.
There was a simple break on your property, then that watered the yard for X amount of time?
Yeah, woods. It went to the woods.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I need to understand, thanks, sir.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
yeah. Okay, so, all right, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for enlightening us. And of course, we're going to look at this. Understanding your position. Really understand. We'll look at this and Mr. Walker will look at these and Ms. Crystal and see what it is and how we can best help.
Okay.
I did speak with you back in July, after this was a scenario we addressed that we would lower the water rate. So we would still be paying the water with the actual usage, but it would just be at a lower price instead of the highest tier price. And at that point, so we was just going to address the board directly, so we didn't do anything with that. I guess tomorrow, if you want, you're interested in that, or you would like something else?
I don't want a lot of money back. That's just me. I just felt like the thing was, that it should, other areas of the society doesn't do that. I understand, but the fact is, but no, the lower rate, I mean, to have that kind of money going out, it's just outside, down there.
We'll review all this and have a good conversation with Mr. Walker, and we'll reach back out to you.
Okay.
And
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
try to do what's right.
Did you want these back, sir, Mr. Jones?
What's that?
Do you want these back?
No,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other guests would like to address any comments from visitors? Nothing else? Mr. Brady? Ms. Thorpe? Good evening.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. I wanted to follow up with some of my concerns that I presented during the last meeting, and one was what I first initially described as a pothole in front of the gate to that water tower, and I actually went down to look at it. It's not a pothole, it is an actual square, for which it looks like someone intentionally and on purposely dug a hole in front of it, maybe to do repairs or whatever. But as I said before, it causes that area to flood, as well as it makes it unsafe for drivers, because when it's flooded, drivers are driving through there and unaware that there is this big hole in the road. And right now, there are no signs, construction signs, or anything to alert the driver of this potentially unsafe area. And I mentioned this during the last meeting. I was here, and I see there's been no action. And I know you all mentioned that this is something that the county does, but maybe this is intentionally, project or can repair something, because again, it's not a hole, not a pothole, it is a square, as though someone intentionally created that, put that hole in the road.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I need to ask, do you have any project or anything that would require us to?
I'd have to go out and look at it again. I'd have to go out there immediately and
get.
get pictures. I mean, I can have pictures first thing in the morning.
Okay. I wasn't aware of any repairs. I'm thinking repairs. But I did see the hole, but it had rained, so it was kind of water everywhere, and I hadn't been back.
Yeah, well, I looked this week because it has not rained recently, and it's not a pothole as I described, because before I had not looked. But I purposely went during a time there was no water, and it's a square, almost a perfect square, as though it was intentionally placed there and maybe for repairs or something. But again, it is a potential unsafe area because, again, people are driving through. And there should be a sign or road signs or something to alert people that there is a hole, because that causes tire damage to your tires. Alignment and all type of things. So, if it's gonna remain there, it needs to be some type of alert to alert drivers that there's a potential hazard.
So, Mr. Rocky, you'll take a look at this tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
If it's dry, asphalt, do a couple bags. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, if it's from a patch,
Cover the hole.
if the hole is a patch, we can take care of that immediately.
Thanks, sir.
It's cover
Okay,
the
well,
hole.
it's been there for months, so. Okay, and the next thing I asked was copies of the proposal for the cost of the sound barriers, and I got that. I know you gave me something, I haven't had
Yes,
enough.
those are the contacts with the engineer that I tried to email you one, but it came back. My email to you did not work.
Okay,
But that's, ESG Engineering is the one that contacted, they contacted 3 or 4, well, it's all, you have the whole email chain in there.
so is this information considered when you made your decision not to take action to build the sound barrier? Because again, I know in the minutes that I read, maybe in April or May minutes, there was an amount for a steel, concrete, and planting trees. But as I stated, I think in most business transactions and proposals, there are more than one price given and considered. There should be at least 3 prices for the steel, at least 3, I won't say prices, but yeah, proposed cost for whatever, and not just one. So was this information considered when you all made the decision not to take action?
They had reached out to a few different contractors. They only got prices back from one. There are not many people that do that type of work.
Okay.
But it shows you in there some of the different companies that they contacted.
Yeah, but I would think, in a major business action, you would have more than one price. But again, you're just going with what you have. Okay, and my next question is, during the previous meetings we talked, there was a proposal to solicit funds from the city of Fort Valley, from the county, from Fort Valley State to contribute to paying the cost of the sound barrier. Was that completed? Was there a solicitation or request to the city of Fort Valley, to the county commissioners and all of those? And I even said the state. So was that action done? Was there was there a request for funding to contribute to the cost?
I did not make a request for funding.
But I presented
No,
it. I asked that.
you presented that to us.
Yes.
And we're not doing that.
Okay.
We're not doing that. We're not going to go solicit funds from several different entities to build a $500,000 steel wall beside a water utility that is perpendicular to a railway.
Okay,
It is
I just
it's
asked that
not a
question
good-
because-
It is not a good business decision. It's not going to do anything for the sound from the railway. There's no value that the proposal brings.
Okay.
You know, we've looked at all of this. We have entertained walls on multiple times. We have reached out to as many people as we possibly can, and we're not building a wall.
Okay, but I made that request months ago, and
Right.
nobody got back with me on that.
We're not soliciting funds, we're not going after multiple different places to go try to find money to build a wall that is not going to do anything.
Okay, but when I made the proposal, it was agreed by the chairman that would happen. Is that correct?
If there were funds that were put forward by the county, the city, or whoever, then we would entertain that. But we were not going to go and ask the city, the county, the state, or anybody else for that. That's not our position for that.
Okay, because when I introduced that proposal, nobody said anything, so I didn't know your answer to that was no.
Our position was, we were not going to go out and seek additional funding. We had what we thought we could do, and we said, I have to go back and watch it, that if there were other monies out there from the city or the county, then we maybe could entertain, figure out how to get this done.
Okay,
Now, not that we would go and seek the other funding. We're not throwing it out the window as a joint effort, we would throw that out the window.
Okay.
But as a singular effort, we're not going to be able to do that according to the studies that we received.
okay, and I just asked now because, again, months ago, when I presented it, there was no to that. I thought that was something you was going to do.
It was a no to, we're not going to build.
Okay, but you did,
The other part with the other entities, we didn't throw that out the window, but at the same time, I don't think none of us thought we were going to go and seek other funding from other organizations. That would be something that would fall on the organization or the entities that were looking to have the organization come together and do that, i.e. you or the neighborhood association.
okay. Again, when I asked a question, I did not get a no. I didn't get a response at all. My assumption was you were going to do that, so that's why I'm asking now. Because you didn't respond.
Okay.
Okay, and during the last meeting, I reported there were limbs on the property on White Street, and I'm taking back that request because what I did, I removed the limbs myself in order to prevent a delay in lawn service, so.
We photoed the limbs the very next day, and they were from storm damage. None of them were cut. None of them were from saw marks. Every part of the limbs, has been a lot of storm damage in the last 2 months, and those limbs were all from storm damage.
Okay, well, again, I removed them myself, so no request from you. Okay, and the final thing I'm asking, was there an impact study or survey done prior to constructing this? Was there impact? Did you all do research to determine the impact on the community prior to building this water tower? For the people who were here?
There was
there an impact study?
there was environmental impact studies, and there were multiple public meetings. And those were done with Carter and Sloop Engineering.
Okay, so was there an impact, was there a discussion on the impact on the community? Not talking about the environment, but talking about the people, the resources?
There were several open meetings.
Okay, so how were they announced?
They were put in the paper, on our website, and on our doors.
Okay. So there was no impact from the residents of the community? I'm just asking that question.
I think all of that precedes everybody that's in this room at this time, other than Attorney Jones, who was involved at the time, and unfortunately, he's not here tonight. But like I said, that precedes everybody sitting up.
Okay, could we search the records to determine if there was?
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get with Attorney Jones and the information that was put out with the, all the public meetings and everything put out for the community and everybody to respond. We'll get a copy of that, if it's all right. We can get that from Attorney Jones to make sure she has a copy of that.
Okay, yeah, because I just wanted to know if the community were involved in that, was there a discussion to say, you know, how does this impact the community? And not environmentally, but the people who live there, your resources.
I heard it had been done, but it was before my time. I was not a part of it. I think I've been here. But it was, I don't recall when and where, what time. And I know Attorney Jones was on board at that time. And he would have that information. We'll research it and get it to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other visitors, comments? All right, thank you. We're moving on to our next agenda item, approval of the minutes for our public meeting of September the 11th, 2023, and our work session meeting on October 2nd, 2023.
I move that we approve these minutes for those, both A and B.
I have a motion looking for a second.
Second.
Second, all those in favor by show of hands. Opposed, same sign. Next item, activity reports, financial overview.
Are there any questions?
Approved from me as well.
What was that, Mr. Dickey?
Approved as well.
Said you approved.
Thank you. Yes, speak up. All right. On our next item, activity report, financial overview. Any questions from the commissioners on our financial overview? Any questions?
Questions here?
No questions? Moving on to our next item. Any questions about our operations overview?
I have none.
No other questions? Moving forward. Next item, old business, none. And we're on to item number 6, new business. Vote to amend minutes from owner to owners on our June 2023 meeting, public meeting.
There's a request by Ms. Thorpe to update the minutes to say owners instead of owner on those. And it's, the only way minutes can be changed is if the commissioners vote on it.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to change the minutes for June of 2023 from the word owner, adding an S to the word owners. All those in favor by show of hands.
I offer a motion. We gotta offer a motion that we change it or amend the minutes from the word owner to owners in our June 2023 minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Second. Second. All those in favor by show of hands. Got it? All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. So next item, item B, 6-inch trailer mount bypass pump.
We're asking you to approve the purchase of pump from Xylem Pump, as we talked about in the work session, for $44,986.78, being the low bidder.
So you need to move.
The low bidder, $44,986.
Yeah, I offer a motion that we accept the bid from Xylene Pump for $44,986.76.
I have a motion, looking for a second. Second by Mr. Lindsay. All those in favor by show of hands. Opposed, same sign. All right. Next item is our tank maintenance contract.
We received a tank maintenance contract, and we had 4 bids in. American Tank at $321,146. USG Water Solutions at $425,084. Southeastern Tank and Tower at $659,600, and Razorback LCC at $2,509,500.
I make a motion that we accept the USG Water Solutions bid for $425,084.00.
Have a motion for the acceptance of USG Water Solutions for $425,084. Looking for a second?
A second.
Second. All those in favor by show of hands. All those opposed, same sign.
That's opposed on the phone.
Opposed. Got it.
What does he have?
Opposed.
Opposed? And what is the count? Ms. Terrell?
It's 4 opposed and 2, 3, sorry. Yeah. 3
4 opposed, 3, so opposed. So we'll remain with the same organization, American Tank Maintenance, according to the supervisor, Mr. Gary, after reviewing his, the staff recommended no action be taken. We voted, and the proposal was for USG Water Solutions, and it was not in favor of the vote. The majority vote was against, so we remain with American Tank Maintenance. Thank you. Moving on to our next item, executive session. Do we have a need for executive session? Ladies and gentlemen. No need for executive session?
And then we're gonna talk about Mr. Giles's.
On Mr. Giles' thing, I think it would be fitting for us to get as much information as we can from our departments, so we know, we make an educated decision. You know, we have everything we have, we just, you know, came into it. I think we need to get the information, let them compile the information, of course, with everything he has, so we can have, you know, we compare the apples to apples.
I don't think it can be done in executive session.
So now,
It can't be talked about in executive session.
so that information would have to be done, compiled, but we have to discuss it. Excuse me? It's going to be done in public, and I think in order for us to do that effectively, we need to get that information from our folks as well, and just so we can compare the apples to apples. And I don't want to walk in with them down, and got it out. Yeah, we won't try to hide it. Yeah.
I know if I can hear what y'all's logic before.
Right.
I understand. I'm not going to go by this, I just had to ask, but yeah.
And most of us kind of understand, you know, but we like to get the information that we have from our folks as well to make sure we make a sound decision.
Because I can't know everything, and I don't know everything, and I don't want to play at all. I mean, I like play, I don't want to do anything to be negative. Give me a half, okay, because I don't want to do nothing. I just want to look at the moment interest in anybody else.
If you don't, you're wrong. All right, well, we thank you so much, everybody, for attending at this time. It completes our agenda. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All those in favor of adjourning this meeting, show of hands. All right, meeting adjourned.